What goes into this pitching research? The template. Actually, there's a template we have. And if you Google, just look for pitching research tool by Professor Robert Favre. You can always get this template out there. And of course, there have been a lot of works done around the pitching research tool. You'll be able to get that online. Now, what goes into this pitching research template? The first thing that goes into this, and as I talk about these areas or these items that go into the pitch, it's not like one follows the other. No, it can move up, down, all right? Top down, bottom up, and even in a circular motion, all right? So it's not like a linear, all right, process. No, okay? It can move always. There are different ways it can move up, down, top down, bottom up, and the rest. So the first aspect that goes into this pitching research tool is the working title. For you to carry out any research, you need to have something that you want to study. You need to have an area that you want to look at. You need to have that which you want to pursue. And it all begins with crafting some words there which become the working title. And we call it a working title through and through because it is subject to changes and all that. Now, what should go into this working title? Ordinarily, we are looking for a shorter working title, not too long, of course, not too short as to miss out on the message, but not too long to confuse the reader. And this working title needs to clearly identify the variables that go into your research. The title needs to be a catchy one, all right? It needs to be a title that when somebody reads, they want to, they want to kind of read a little bit more, all right? It's a bit captivating, all right? The title needs to be very clear, not vague, all right? The scope has to be defined in the title. And when I talked of not too long, we're talking about 16 to 18 words. Anything longer than that is like a paragraph. That is the working title, which I said keeps on evolving as you move along. The next aspect are the papers that inform your research, and we call this the key papers. Now, these are the anchor studies for your work. All right, for example, when you think of philosophy, there are certain people you cannot fail to talk about, right? Plato, okay, and the likes. So think of your research and ask yourself, who do you want to stand on their shoulders, all right? So these are the key papers. And where do we get these key papers, or what informs what a key paper is? These are papers published in reputable journals, very well-rated journals, if possible A-star or A, okay? You could still go down to B, but we look for the very top journals there in your area, in your science. The next thing that goes into this key paper are papers written by the experts in that area. For example, if you're in behavioral finance, you need to get an expert in that area, all right? If you're talking about savings groups, you need to get an expert. If you're in law or a certain area of law, let's say criminal law, you need to get an expert who has been publishing in that area. These are the gurus, okay, in that area. So you need to see if you can get a paper or two from these kind of publishers or these others. The next thing that should go into the key paper is a paper which is recent. I mean, we are talking about no older than 5 years. Anything older than 5 years might, you might find yourself getting to the risk of obsolescence when it comes to executing your research or carrying out research which has already been carried out or done. So the more recent the key papers are, the better, and the more likely your idea will stand the test of time for a good period of time. So when you look at these key papers, and here we're talking about 3 papers, if you're stretching them a bit, 5, not more than 5, okay? So, but you're talking about 3 papers here, which really will anchor your work, which will inform your study, where you're going to draw gaps from, and the gaps that you would like to pursue. The next aspect is the research question that you need to answer. Now, this research question can be phrased in a question format, or it can be a statement. It doesn't have to be a question, right? Sometimes the research question follows your working title, and it can keep on being refined as you move along. The research question kind of triggers you now to think through the other sections of your pitch, because it is that research question which will inform how you are going to approach your study, what it is that you want to collect data on, because the question kind of triggers you, all right, to think what it is that you want to fill, what is the gap that you intend to fill, and that is the research question. Next is the motivation. Okay, so research is not just carried out for the sake of it. There must be something that drove you to carry out that research. What is the puzzle? Okay, have you observed something that you would like to pursue? Something that has not yet been resolved? Okay, do you want to put the pieces together, all right, to get something that could be useful? What really drove you? And that speaks to the motivation. Now, these first 4 parts of the pitch form like the first aspects, all right? So you have to think of your working title, you have to think of your key papers, you have to think of your research question, and you have to ask yourself, what is motivating you to carry out this research? You may want to pause at that and ask yourself, have you been able to bring all these pieces together, these 4 pieces together, all right? And is your research idea making sense? Okay, of course there are other sections to the pitch that you will need to think about.